This is Brandon Despia. Thank you so much for watching the channel and having conversations with me about Branded. Today is finally the day. Dracotail has finally been released on Master Duel. And I woke up super early so I can have a video for you guys as we construct our new Dracotail decks. But first, we're going to have to pull, and you know what? Bonus, we get Medius cards too. I like the Archmage deck, so we'll try to pull, and we'll show you the 40 card and the 60 card builds I will be testing and having content for you as we go into a new age of branded, so to speak, or Dracotail, or branded Dracotail, however you want to say it, in Master Duel. I am very, very excited for this. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for the notifications on the YouTube channel, as you should be expecting a lot more Master Duel content in the coming months, especially with everything happening in Master Duel, and then we transition into February with the new Burst Protocol cards. With that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Alright, the first thing I did see when I did turn on my game was, I did see that there was some type of, yeah, there it is. The Dracotail accessory bundle. So you know I have to get that first. It looks like we get, okay, we get 10 packs. And we get some accessories to go with Dracotail, which I'm all about. So we're going to go ahead and do this first, and hopefully we get lucky. I've already pre-built the Dracotail decks I'm going to be making. This doesn't seem that great, actually. Let's do the first 10 pull manually, and then we'll just skip for the rest of them. But I've already made the 40 and the 60 card builds I'm going to be running in ranked. Ooh. Okay, we got Nerva. I think I will also be making some videos on Archmage branded as well. I do think that is a solid deck as well. So there are some good spells and traps I want to put in the graveyard through the Archmage field spells effect. So I will definitely be doing that. But so far, we've just been getting Archmage stuff. So maybe something is okay. Okay, Temple of the Kings. That's right. That's right. So, Temple of the Kings. You know, I'm not really interested in playing the Odeon deck. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I was making fun of a friend earlier because they, just because they had recently lost a dimensional barrier for their all trap deck. I believe it was the the Labyrinth deck. So, ooh, okay, we got our first Arthalion. Very awesome, very awesome. All right, now for the 5th pack. Okay, so we're getting a little mix of everything right now. But we did get one Arthalion before our first 10 pack, which is, you know, it's a decent sign. What we got here? And our first Ketu Dracotail. Note that is a ultra rare, so the chances of this card being restricted or banned anytime soon is very low, which is good for us, but also bad because it's harder to get. Anyways, here's the 7th pack. Ooh, another one. Okay. Wow, they really are just giving me a mix of everything. Divine Servant Apophis? Must be fusion summoned or special summoned by tributing 2 Apophis monsters. Okay, so you don't have to use a fusion spell. Once per turn, you can target up to 3 Apophis traps with different names in your graveyard and set them again. Once per turn, if a trap card is activated, except during the damage step, you can target one card your... Wow, not even your... This is actually a really good card. That's actually crazy. Huh. Well, I'm still not interested in playing it, but the way things are going, I might have to try it. They keep on giving me the cards for it. All right, 9 pack. Okay, we're really just getting Archmage stuff. Okay, Fright for Patchwork. Something that some people might try to play in their Dracotail variants. We do have quite a few different ways to play Dracotail in Master Duel, so that's always a good sign for people who want some variety. And the last pack. Wow, another Divine Servant. What is happening here? I feel like I'm being told something and I'm not listening. Anyways, I did get a good number of, ultra rares. Just really only 2 of them were from the Dracotail build, but that's okay. All right, well, we got all the accessories, and now it's time for the nitty-gritty. As you can see at the top right here, I've already wailed a little bit, so let's get right into the meat and potatoes. All right, here we go. Aerial superiority. All right, guys. Oh, yes, and I almost forgot about this. The Secretarion Dragon is also here. Good on Konami for adding this, as many people will be attempting to use Super Poly to give themselves a little bit better chance of fighting against the Dracotail deck, which I always say on my channel that I like Secretarion Dragon. I like it as an extender, especially for the branded decks, as the more branded heavy variants, even the Dracotail variant as well. But it's kind of fake as a one-stop, floodgate for Dracotail. But I guess anything to slow it down is going to be greatly appreciated. All right, next 10-pack. By the way, I just really feel like Max C is going to be a problem even more. Oh, look at that. Silhouette Rabbit. We got a Mysterion the Dragon Crown. I'm probably not going to be running this initially, at least until... But definitely will be doing it until when Yummy shows up. We got our second Arthalion, and look at that. Look at that. We got our first Archmage Deactorus, so I'm pretty happy about that. Is this my 3rd copy of Apophis? Are you kidding me? All right. To be honest, starting off, we got a lot of fodder for ultra rares, but I would like to not have to do that. I would like to just get the cards. Thank you very much. All right, next 10-pack here. Okay, so we have our 3rd Arthalion now, and we have our Rahu Dracotail. We might have an Archmage deck built before before we have the Dracotail stuff. We got our Medius de Pure as well. I do want to make a Archmage deck that does run Fiendsmith alongside of it, so that might be another video. All right, next 10-pack. We got another Mysterion and a Man of the Mark. Okay, this isn't looking good, guys. This isn't looking good at all. We already went through a lot of packs here. And I really wasn't trying to wail, but I kind of, felt like I had to for the video. Why am I getting Silhouette Rabbit? What's going on here? This game is really trying to tell me to play something I do not want to play. All right. Here we go. All right, next 10-pack. Are you kidding me? How many is that? That's 3 Silhouette Rabbits and 4 Divine Serpents. So all right, this isn't good, guys. I am not happy about this right now. Okay. It's really hard to keep composure and when this is happening, when you're, throwing money into the garbage like this. But all right, let's go into another 10-pack here. We're almost done. We really could use some Archmage cards here. I mean, not Archmage cards. Let me jinx it, please. Another Mysterion. Our first Malulu, which is nice to see, but we're really not getting the Dracotail cards like we want. We have way too many Mysterions. Unbelievable. All right, let's go to another 10-pack. All right, hopefully that's a good sign. Another Nerva. Okay, well, I think you only run 1 Nerva in the Archmage deck. And another Man of the Mark. Jesus Christ. Okay, well, guys, something tells me we're not going to have a great day. All right, we have 4 10-packs left, unless we get lucky at the very last second here. All right, let's go. Okay, we did get the Dracotail Frixel, which is good to see. We got our first Secretarion. Deactorus, good. I do want to play that deck, but now we have 4 copies of Arthalion, so, you know, it's just, yeah. Maybe you can tell in the tone in my voice, you know, that this is not happening really the way I wanted to right now. All right, go ahead. Another Secretarion, a second Rahu, I believe that is no, it's a third Rahu. Fusion Gate? Who decided to put Fusion Gate in this deck? Who decided that? I mean, in this pack. Who decided that, really? All right. We have 2 more 10 packs left. All right. We need something really good here. Can I get at least 1 Lucius? Like, or Phimina? Oh my god, are you serious? Are you kidding me? That's 4. Okay. All right. All right, we got a lot of crafting to do, guys. It's just, there's no avoiding it at this point. And now for the last 10 pack. Wow. Well, we got our first Graflare at least. But this is honestly a bummer. We got completely shafted here. Completely, utterly destroyed. Hopefully you guys did way better than me. We got the Theo Realize here. Hopefully I have stolen all of your bad luck before, you know, you've pulled. So, at least I got a Lucius. And I think that's our third, no, it's our 4th Acropolis. Okay. So, at least the Lucius is a super rare. We can easily craft that. And for the last pack, it's probably not going to be anything great. Yeah, nothing great there. Okay, so we did terrible. We did absolutely god-awful today. So I guess we'll go ahead and start crafting, shall we? Let's go ahead and make these decks right now. To be honest with you, I'm kind of disappointed. Not going to lie, kind of disappointed. All right. So this is the deck that we've built. We have most of the cards available, to be honest, so it's not too bad. We actually we haven't gotten any copies of the Phiminas, and then we need 2 more Malulu. So we can generate that really quickly. So go ahead and do that. There we go. Everything else, all things considered, we did have. Now, like, just understand here, we did have a bad pull. We did have a bad pull session, but it looks like I've pretty much only need these super rares. I mean, these ultra rares. So. All things considered, that's not the worst. Let's go ahead and craft a few of those right now. We only need 1 Secretarion, so we'll go ahead and craft that. I am not playing this at all. Okay. And we only need 1 Nerva, I believe, so let's craft that. All right. And dismantle. Okay, and we only need 3 Arthalion. We only can have 3. Silhouette of Rabbit, that's absolutely insane. We're probably going to keep 1 of those, but everything else can go. And Mysterion. Boy, I love triple Mysterion for no reason. All right, let's get rid of that. All right, so everything being said, can we just go ahead and craft it now? Can we just craft these now? All right. All right, and looks like we can generate these 3. I just accidentally made 3. Okay. Yeah, actually I needed 3. My bad. I was correct. We'll go ahead and generate 2. Oh man, wow, just enough. Just enough. We had just enough to craft everything. Absolutely insane. Okay, so this will be the 40 card Dracotail branded deck list. You know, if you play the TCG, you're relatively familiar with everything you're seeing here for the most part. But I will go ahead and explain for a lot of people who are new to the deck. And I will talk about some concerns I have with Dracotail now that it's in the meta. I think this could literally be the end of a certain card, hopefully, you know. So we have 2 copies of the Droll and Lockbird. This is a heavy hand trap build. with the 2 copies of Max C. So already you know what my issue is going to be. Being able to over and over again reuse Max C in this meta is going to be devastating. It's going to really annoy people. This is probably going to be the #1 thing that people are going to be very, very upset about, and I don't blame them. But unfortunately, it's here, so we have to use it. We have the 1 copy of the Dracotail Frixel, which is very important when you use it with cards like Branded Fusion. 3 Ash Blossom. Normally, and this is my opinion about hand traps currently, that they're not that great in most decks, like, for the most part. Like, the main reason why we run Ash Blossom in the TCG is mostly to kind of stop Charming Fool Loss. Ash Blossom doesn't really stop decks anymore by itself. But in Dracotail, being able to use it over and over again through cards like Arthalion is going to make it way better. Dracotail makes hand traps way better because you're going to be using them 2 times at least in many builds. We're running 2 copies of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. We know Dracotail is going to be played a lot, so you're going to want to use cards like Ash Blossom and Ghost Bell. You're probably going to want to hold them to basically stop their recursion of the Dracotail Flame, the Sting, and the Horn. And I'm running all 3, by the way. We're running 3 Dracotail Malulu, 1 Fallen of Albaz, and 3 Fool Loss. We only need the 1 Fallen of Albaz to be able to use our Branded Fusion. We're going to be able to recur it, put it back in the deck with lots of different cards in effect, so not really a big deal here. Dracotail Lucius, our main 1-card starter. Phimina, one of the most broken hand traps in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh!, is now finally available. And then we're going to run 1 copy of Bestial Magnemont, which is very strong in this deck to get cards like Dracotail Pan or Dracotail Urgula in order to, break your opponent's board. 1 Drew Swarm and 1 Baldrake. The reason why we're running them is because we still have to contest with Orcust variants as well as Mitsurugi variants, right? So we still want to have a couple of hand traps to at least be able to potentially banish their lights and darks from the graveyard, right? And you got to remember, there's going to be a lot of Dracotail variants, whether it is going to be the hand trap variant you see here, the branded Dracotail variant, the Dragon Maid variant, the Shaddoll variant. A lot of people are going to try different things, and a lot of people have their own different flavor of Dracotail. Is what makes it so strong and versatile. So the Bestials are going to see a lot more play in the coming months, especially if in the next month or so we get Yummy or the new branded support. We're running 1 Urgula and 2 Pan. I would run 2 Urgula normally, but I decided to make room for an extra Bestial. We're running 3 Katu Dracotail, 3 Rahu. We're running 3 copies of Super Polymerization. You know why we're running this. We're going to be seeing a lot of Dracotail decks. Being able to turn it in their cards into a Secretarion Dragon is going to be pretty important. And it's going to be, and since we're also running a branded engine, we potentially could use the Fallen of Albaz to go with Super Poly as well. But this is mostly to have an answer in a desperate scenario against dragon decks or spellcaster dragon decks like Blue Eyes or any other variants. Making Secretarion Dragon is going to be something that can really stop them. You're going to see a lot of dragons for the next few months. For the extra deck, before I get into that, we do have the Horn, Flame, and the Sting. I'm going to try all 3. Most decks will try to run the 2 instead, but I think the third one's going to be pretty viable in this current format. 1 Gulamel, 1 Titanic Lad the Ash Dragon, 1 Albion the Branded Dragon. You only need the 1 at least until the Fallen and the Virtuous is available. Then you're going to want to bump this up to 2. Mirror Jade. Love Mirror Jade, still a very powerful broken card, fusion monster, and I have no problem with giving this deck as many options as possible to win. 1 Lubellion, 1 Albion the Sanctifier Dragon, super powerful card, and we are going to be able to lock people by using the Spear with Eyes of Blue. 1 Chaos Star Source Dragon. This is one. This is going to be a very important card, as you will be seeing a lot more Retaliating Sea. Because of Retaliating Sea, you're going to want to have in mind lines that will allow you to access Chaos Star Source Dragon to get rid of the Retaliating Sea. We're running the Philia Regis in this particular build. Another card that will interfere with the opponent's graveyard if they try to put things in there that can resurrect themselves. Philia Regis will be able to take care of that. This will probably make room for the Mysterion by removing Philia Regis if Yummy Mitsurugi becomes insane in Master Duel, which we don't know when that's coming out. We're running 3 copies of Dracotail Artholion. This is the main beater of the deck. This is the reason you play Dracotail. Being able to on-summon, bring monsters back to your hand from the graveyard equal to the number of monsters you sent from the hand as fusion material. Absolutely insane. Plus its ability to resurrect itself from the graveyard when 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time from either side of the field gives you some additional resilience against board wipes, and it is a 3,000 beater as well. So, and then we have the Secretarion Dragon, which I mentioned before. It's I think it's okay as a floodgate, but it really isn't that strong in my opinion against Dracotail unless you use it at a very specific time. Just shotgunning it is probably going to get you. If just shotgunning it just for the floodgate effect isn't going to really save you, but it does have a really great turn 1 effect, which allows you to special summon a dragon or spellcaster from your graveyard. So extending with this card is amazing. Then we're running the 1 Spirit with Eyes of Blue. You typically will see this being summoned after a normal summon Lucius if they're going into the Hieratic Seal play. And Hieratic Seal in this build will go into one of 3 cards after it uses effect by attributing itself to bounce a card. It will go into Fallen of Albaz, which you'll want to go into this if you can see an opportunity to go into something like Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. So if you're able to do this by getting rid of a light spellcaster or by getting access to it, which you might want to consider adding if you want to give yourself better chances of summoning this. You might want to add a copy or 2 of Cartesia. A lot of people do that in the TCG, but we're not going to do it today. Albion special summoning the Spirit with Eyes of Blue may seem like an instant win to you, but it really is not, considering the fact that a lot of people will be on Dracotail. A lot of people will be on this, so you'll have to choose wisely when they bring this out. But it is still a great card to plague things on your opponent's turn. I'm sorry. So even if you take this Spirit of Eyes of Blue out of the scenario, you honestly don't even need this card. You can replace it with an SP Little Knight pretty straightforwardly. You know what I mean? You don't really have to use this card. Honestly, I'm probably going to end up doing that myself, potentially, in the future. We'll see. Then we'll have the Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres as a nice bounce. Very great card. You can go into, like I said, the Fallen of Albaz, the Bestial Magnum Hut, or you can go into the Dracotail Malulu. So you have 3 strong options off of that. And then the last, which is another reason this might be an issue, is the Predaplant Verte Anaconda. To be honest with you, in the TCG, you went into Spirit, but if Verte was legal, this probably wouldn't even be a thing. You're probably just going to go straight into Predaplant Verte Anaconda, which is really strong because you're going to go to your full play here. You're going to go into your full Dracotail play, then take your 2 monsters and simply just go into Verte Branded Fusion. And honestly, absolutely insane. Go Branded Fusion into Albion the Sanctifier Dragon, and then you can set the 3rd Dracotail, third Dracotail trap, because you're going to send Fallen of Albaz and Dracotail Frixel, and go into Albion the Sanctifier Dragon, which, by the way, cannot be used as fusion material, so they can't super poly this away to make their own Secretarion Dragon, and it can't be targeted by card effects. So it's still a really strong card, just naturally by itself. And since you have an albaz in the graveyard, summoning it to your side of the field in your opponent's turn to make something like a Mirror Jade is also a very valid option. But you can also just simply use albaz and a Predaplant to make the Mirror Jade. If you do that, you may want to consider having a copy of Rinbrum in your deck to extend off of that even further. So it's something to consider. If I was to do that, I will probably take out the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, or take out one of these cards. Like it's going to be really difficult. Maybe the Philia Regis. In order to make room for the Rinbrum. So it depends. Well, you can see, it depends on how you like to play the deck. Also consider, by the way, Albalanatus in this early part of the format because of the there's going to be a lot more dragons, right? So being able to just take the albaz and just eat up their whole board might be something you might want to do. That's a little bit iffy in my personal opinion, but it is something you can consider. Also, Sprin the Iron Dash Dragon is a monster you might also want to have in your extra deck because this requires Fallen Albaz and an effect monster special summon this turn. So, for example, if your opponent uses Retaliating Sea to deal with your ability to fuse from the extra deck, fuse from the deck using cards like Branded Fusion, Rahu Dracotail, or even Ketu Dracotail. These cards are vulnerable to Retaliating Sea. You can use Fallen of Albaz and fuse away that Retaliating Sea to make Sprint, which also gives you another ability to deal with it. So something to consider. I think maybe Sprint is something you would consider for the more branded heavy setups though. All right. So, glad that build is done, and now we're gonna go to my 60 card build that we're gonna be trying today. So here's the build right here. You can see we're running only one Ketu Dracotail in this particular build, along with one copy of Lucius, one copy of Phimina. We do have the Frixel and the Malul here. There is a lot smaller build here. We are running 2 copies of Arthalion. I just think it's better to run the 2 copies instead of just one in this format because we have Maxi, and just being able to use Maxi, just the threat of that happening is incredibly absurd, and I really am worried about the potential of, that being, potential of Maxi maybe finally getting, well, actually I'm not really worried about it. Let me put it this way. I would be shocked if Maxi isn't banned in the next 3 months. I will be shocked if Maxi is not banned in the next 3 months. Because, what are you going to do? Limit Arthalion? Absolutely not. You're not going to do that. Not anytime soon. And you see we're only running 2 of the Dracotail traps instead of 3 in this particular build. We did slightly lower the number of Bestials and the Albion the Shredded Dragon. You could make the argument to put this to 1 if you wish to replace it with another Ketu Dracotail. In fact, let's do that right now. I'd rather have a 1-card starter take its place. I do like Albion the Shredded Dragon though. Okay, and we have the Super Poly here, the Rahu Dracotail, Ketu Dracotail. Everything is pretty much what you would expect from a 60-card build. We do have the grass that looks greener. We can still use Secretarion Dragon after a grass to resurrect pieces from the graveyard to continue our combo. So very excited for this variant as well. I am only running 1 Clem in this build. Would like to run 2, but I don't think you really need it. And we are still running 3 Aluber the Jester Despia. It's still a huge major combo piece for the deck. It's a 1-card starter for branded, so anything I can do to maximize the number of 1-card starters, I'm going to do that. So which begs the question, why am I not running multiple Ketus? I mean, a 3rd Ketu. Well, we'll see. We'll find out. I may actually take out the Bestial Serenir and add a different Bestial just to have some more flexibility with my hand trap options. Branded doesn't really run a lot of hand traps normally, especially the 60-card gas build. But, we could make room for that, so we'll see. Anyway, these are my builds. I will probably do another video later where we do an art mage build, because you can do art mage, you can do art mage Brandon, you can do art mage fiendsmith. Those are my favorite variants to test and play in the ladder. So stay tuned for that. And that concludes the video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to let me know that you enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions, let me know. Any concerns about the deck list you see here, or maybe you have a suggestion. As you notice, we're not running any locks in this build, so but you totally can if you'd like to. But I just want to focus more on just the engine today. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.